Hello friends, this is Erin Ware. I am talking about my 2024 lineup today, or planners and journals, Techo Kaigi, planner meeting, whatever you want to call it. I'm just gonna fairly quickly talk about what I'm using next year and actually what I've already started using. So I'm very settled on this. I have been actually practicing my new systems for about maybe a month now. I've made some changes and I was gonna have a video about just those changes, but then I realized that those changes are actually like the same as what I'm using for next year. So here we are. This is what I'm using for next year. I've kind of laid them out. I don't know how well you can see this, but this is pretty much everything that I'm using, and it's not really clear, but this side is work and this side is personal. And as you can see, these things for me blend together a lot because I am an artist and I work from home. I mean, I work out of my home. And it's really hard for me. I don't know how, other people feel about this, but it's hard for me as an artist to separate my personal life from my work life because my work life is very personal. It all blends together. That's what I'm trying to say. So my planners and journals also blend together, and that's just the way that it is. And so I've been trying to work out systems to help me keep everything organized. My brain is not organized and it's very busy all the time. And so I'm trying to figure out systems to help me. So let me just get right into it, and I'll just go with what I have, I guess, kind of written here, or actually maybe I'll just go from work to personal, or we'll just do it however it makes sense. Okay, I'm gonna start with this. This is the Hobonichi Planner. So it's A6, English, like original, not original Hobonichi, but like this, before they started making English like versions of the other planners, this I believe was the original English version one, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not really sure. This is the first year that I've purchased this one. I've really loved the cover of it for a long time. And I also love how the pages are way more like minimal compared to the other version. So I did try the Hobonichi A6 in 2022. And so that's this one. It's different. The grid size is different. I can't tell you. I do prefer this size to this size. This is a little too big for me. But as far as everything else, I think that the way that, I mean, a lot of these pages are used, but the colors change. It just seems kind of messy. The like the calendars have red and gray. It just has never appealed to me aesthetically. And so I bought this one because it's all black and the Sundays are red, so everything else is black. And then the months are also like simple. Sundays are red. There aren't all of the Japanese holidays like in red like the other one, and it just, I don't know, it's a much more simplified version, I think. But it has like basically all the same layouts as the regular Hobonichi A6 Techo. So anyways, I'm using this as a work planner essentially, but if you've been around and watched my previous videos, you know why like I don't have like a big, I told you I wasn't going to use a big book as a work planner. And I don't know if you would classify this as a book, like a big book. So maybe I was lying about that. But the reason why it's different is because I'm not storing information in a book anymore. I'm using Notion for a lot of the things that I would normally have to reference a lot or go back and look at or keep track of. Like a lot of those things are going to be stored in Notion. And so this is basically going to be for just daily to-do lists and other like daily notes that I don't need to necessarily go back and reference in the future. They're just going to be like, you know, things that I just, as I go throughout my day, need to write down. And then for the months, I'm just going to be keeping track of the things that I do end up posting. I have another place, which I'll show you, but I have another place where I'm sort of doing like the sloppy planning or the like pre-planning or just trying to work out when things will be posted. So I have Patreon, YouTube, and then whatever else, like blog posts, emails, anything else that I plan on doing, I'll work out in the other planner. And then once they actually get published, it'll go in here, and that'll just help me keep track of the things that I'm actually doing. And then I'm also going to be tracking some kind of activities in here. I haven't completely worked this out, but it's going to be goal related, specific work goal related. And that's about it. I have some ideas for things to put in here, like a vision board, but I haven't gotten that far yet. And that's basically, it's like a to-do list. So I have already been working in my 2022, this avec that I, not avec, avec, A6 that I used back in 2022. I gave up on it. It wasn't working for me back then. So I pulled it out and just like, I'm just using, I mean, the dates are still right. The days of the week are not right. So I'm just using this as like exactly like what I said I was going to use it for. A to-do list, kind of bullet journal style, and then just things, just things. Like this is a list of songs from Epidemic Sound that I wanted to include in a video for Patreon, or like pull from. I didn't use all of these, but I don't really need to reference this again, but it's here if I do want to, but I don't need to keep track of this. I just needed to write it down. So stuff like that. Maybe some doodles, maybe some stickers, but basically this is going to be fairly simple, and it's just a nice place for me to just get things down. It's going to be out on my desk throughout the workday, and yeah, that's that. The other thing that I use to keep track of everything is Weeks, which I did talk about, I think in the last video that I made, how I have changed the way that I use the Weeks a lot since I started using it. This is my I think this is my 4th year using the Weeks, and it has been like my main planner, like more like a personal planner, and now I'm using it as a tracker / like kind of everything planner. This is where all of my kids like school stuff, like school schedule, birthdays, family birthdays, that kind of stuff goes in here, like doctor's appointments, that kind of thing. I will be referencing this as probably my main calendar as far as like all the things go, all the things. And so I haven't really started using the monthlies yet, but that's where that stuff will go, as well as like here. I was kind of playing around with using this as a menu planner. Things have been chaotic, and that it's not a really good time to try that, but I do plan on maybe using it as like a menu planner. But the main thing I've been using it for lately is tracking. And I started this about a month ago, maybe a little more now. And what I'm doing is I'm trying to track my habits, and I have started tracking them. I've been really good about doing this pretty much every day. I might miss it on the weekends, but mostly every day I keep track of certain things that I do. And what really helps me is that there's always, like, there are some very easy things on this list, and I love checking them off. And so that just gets me in here. And it has become a pretty good habit. Like, over the past month, I've like kept up with it, which is miraculous for me. If you haven't been here long, then you don't know, but like I'm terrible at tracking, like absolutely terrible. But all of a sudden I found a system that's working for me, and it's kind of surprising to me that it is. But basically, I just keep track of a bunch of things that I would like to do ideally every day, or not even necessarily every day, but they're things that I want to keep like front of mind. And so, and like also like when they get done. I mean, it doesn't matter, like emptying the dishwasher doesn't need to happen every single day, but I just kind of keep track of like how often we run it during the week, and then when I empty it. I don't know. Sometimes these things change. I'm trying to track like the steps that I take towards my goals. I have 3 main goals that I'm working toward right now, and I try to break them down into very, very simple tasks that I can do every day for those 3 main goals. I'm pretty gentle with myself as a general rule. I tend to go really easy on myself. So for me personally, this is like how I try to move myself forward. I find them helpful for me. Yeah, so that's basically what's happening in here. This is for this week, and it's pretty simple. It just, I mean, I do enjoy decorating these pages, so I've continued to do that. And yeah, I'm in here every day. So it is a crossover between work and home. It's just sort of everything. Excuse me. It's just like everything that I need to do, or that I want to do, or that I might want to do, and I just try to keep it simple and easy and like just right in front of my face. I think that's the main key for me, is to just sort of keep things like front of mind. So, oh, I did want to tell you that before I move on, one of the main things that has been helping me keep things in front of my face, you might say, and I would consider this part of my system, is this stack of cards. And I'm not going to go through the stack of cards today. I might be talked into doing that in a future video maybe, but really it's just like things that I want to look at every day to help me keep in mind like what's important to me. So some of them are questions like this one: what can I do today that my future self will thank me for? There are questions about like, what if I just did it? What, you know, things that like that help me kind of get outside of my own brain for a second, like my overthinking tendencies, and to just help me move forward a little bit. And then there are other like lists of things that I need to do, things that have been on the back burner, things that are maybe coming up, or projects. Like I have a card for just like one project with a list of things I need to do for that project. And yeah, just anything that I want to. It's sort of like just scrolling through my sort of everything. I don't know what to call that. It's like everything that I want to remember daily on these cards. And they're constantly being edited, constantly being like moved around. But at the very least, I want to look at them every day so that I can be reminded of things every day that are important to me. And then when I read the cards, I don't know if you would have noticed this, but that's one of the things to check off on my list, is read the cards, and then I can check it off. And that's, that actually helps. It's like reinforcing this whole system, having these different places to, I don't know, check it off the list, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. It's working. I don't know why exactly or how, or if I could make it better, but it is working. It's like helping me even during like a really difficult time, a time when it's really hard to stay focused on work and stay focused on like, I don't know, anything, like any kind of projects I'm supposed to be doing. Like it's helping me to remember what it is that I want to do. So that is it for like the main work planners. Like that, I would just say that those are my planners. Those are the things that are like the only places where I really need to get down future plans, goals, like anything like that, things that I'm working toward, to-do lists. That's where those go. So the rest of this stuff is more not necessarily just personal, but it's like creative, maybe. This one, I'm gonna wait on this. Hold on. Let's go to this. So this one I started last year. It's a Midori codex. Like it has, I think it has like 360 some pages. So you could do a page a day. And it has this funny little tab that you can tear off. This one's dot grid. And what I've been using this for, I started this as a place to, it's kind of like what I would do in the Hobonichi cousin back in the day, where I just like, I don't know. Okay, so when I started it, I thought I'll just make it sort of bullet journal style for some reason, like creative bullet journal style, and that's not really what I ended up doing in here. So I like the way this looks, it's fine, but I'm not planning in here. Mostly it's like memory keeping and playing. So I have just put things in here. I don't know, it's just kind of whatever I feel like. I need to go back and write the information down, but I've been doing the artist's way. I'm taking a break for like the holiday time. I'm gonna start it back up in January, but I'm about 2/3 of the way through. Yeah, so like home projects I wanna do. This is just like a drawing my daughter did that I think is hilarious. And this, one of my favorite poems. This is like magazine cut out from Feel Free magazine, I think. October dashboard. There's just like all kinds of stuff, things I want to remember. This is like work related, just stuff I want to remember for my working on my portfolio. This is working on a color palette. So just playing around with color. Same kind of stuff, just things that I like. Things, oh, this is my daughter's birthday. Just some journaling, like memory keeping. This was a busy week because it was my birthday and we went to the fair and it was also Halloween, and yeah, so lots of stuff going on there. This is just like a bunch of ephemera, just like random stuff. More memory keeping type things. November, this is not as full. I think this is when I was starting to get into my sort of like newer books for the next year. And so I tapered off in here in this book. But still like keeping track of things. I like to use my own artwork that I make for Patreon and stuff in here. Also because like if I don't use it in here, I don't know where like I'm gonna use it. So yeah, I just love playing in here, just kind of whatever I like or whatever I want, you know, just like stick it in here. I purchased some paints. Yes, this is stuff from Patreon. I haven't like filled this out yet, but it's kind of my December dashboard, I think. Like this is a tracker from, I think it's Get Your Life Together on Instagram. I feel like I might be messing that up, but I can put a link. And then yeah, just a little collage. So that's all I have in here so far. It's just a playtime journal, really. It's just like, I don't want to put a lot of chunky stuff in other places, and or at least not in my main journal. So I use that, like that's what this is for. Tip-ins and, you know, gluing stuff in and stuff like that. So yeah, that one's fun. I really like that one. This is my other main journal that is all personal. So there's always going to be a little bit of an overlap because I feel like my art comes from every part of my life, but at the same time, this one is definitely like, I don't know, it's more personal because it's just for me and I don't have to think about anybody else when I'm in this journal. It's, I mean, I don't know how else to say that. I did purchase this B6 Common Planner to be my work planner for 2024. I purchased it with a pre-order way back in like June or July or whenever that was. And in the meantime, like I was realizing that I didn't actually find that big book very useful for the way that I was wanting to plan. I found that things in the back, like all the grid pages, were just getting lost for me, and that's why I moved to a different system. And I had this and I considered selling it, but then I realized that there were all these other things that I wanted to do as far as like journaling is concerned, and I put it all in here. So I'm very excited about this one. I've made it the personal space of Erin Ware. So I've just made it a little happy space for myself, and it's where I haven't completely set all this up, but this is going to be personal goals that are mostly just like fun things, like things I want to read, things I want to sew or knit, or trips I want to go on, like not work related at all, just fun stuff that I want to do. And then I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to do with this, but something similar to that, like just keeping track of things, like fun things. Nothing like serious can go in here, just stuff that makes me happy. The monthly pages I've just begun to use to keep track of reading, which this is not updated, but I also haven't been reading as much. So, but yeah, I'm just gonna keep track of what I'm reading, and maybe other stuff, but that's all I got so far for those. And then the weekly pages, I've already begun because I drew in the ones at the back, but it is personal, so I'm not really going to show you. But it's like where I do my nightly or my like evening routine. So I do gratitude. So I just like list, I don't know, 1, 2, 3 things that are good things for the day. Things that just, I don't know, made me happy, made me proud. Good stuff. I just write those down, and then I write a couple things about the day, about maybe what, I mean, there's a lot of ways to think about this. I call it an examen. That comes from like Christian tradition, but I've really simplified it. You could also call it like, I don't know if it like really fits like the peak in the pit sort of thing, but it's similar in that I try to keep track of the things that I think I could do better at, and then the things I was proud of, like things that I did well for that day. And then sometimes I have some other things to keep track of, like if I'm trying to have another, like sometimes there's like seasonal practices that I do, and so that might be where I keep track of that too. So that's what goes on the daily pages. And then in the back, I'm just like doing kind of whatever I want. So there's a book list of things, kind of like TBR type stuff. And then this is something I made a couple years ago, and I printed it on clear sticker paper and stuck it in here. This is like my mood tracker, cycle tracker sort of thing. Yeah, more books. There's just like, yeah, so I'm going to do reading notes, book notes in here. There's a stationery wish list. Yeah, you might call this commonplacing. You might call it just like, I don't know, journaling. It's just sort of whatever. I'm not going, stickers are fine, washi's fine, but I'm not going to be like gluing things in here, mainly because I want to keep it easy to write in. I really want to write in here a lot, and I find that when the paper gets like real stiff and thick with like glue and stuff, I don't write as much. So I did put something here to kind of separate. This is glued in, but typically I'm not going to really do that. So that's what's in there. I'm very excited about it. And then how long have we been going? Wow, a good long time. So I'm just going to very, very quickly talk about these things because I have talked about these a whole lot, and I haven't really changed a whole lot. Every once in a while I kind of switch around the setups just for something new, but these are mostly the same. This is my writing journal for fiction that I'm working on. It's a hobby right now. It's a future dream, but it's not something I work on like on a daily basis. So there's like a novel and like children's books that I am working on. This is my artist's notebook or main artist journal. So this is where I work out ideas related to my art and what I like, where I want to take it, things that are important to me, ideas, things that I'm just like thinking about, and I don't know, just like anything related to myself as an artist can go in there. And then this is similar to that. This is like art related, but it's also writing. So these are ideas that I work through in my artwork that I keep coming back to. And I don't know, there's more in there somewhere, but they're all like, yeah. This is my notebook that I use for writing related to maybe blog posts or essays or articles or anything like that. And this is not completely set up because I've actually changed some things, but yeah, that's what's in there. Very, very briefly, but these have been with me for a while and they really haven't changed that much. And I don't get in them every day, but I like to have them. Like I like that they're there for me when I want them. And also sometimes these might travel with me because they're a little bit easier to travel with than some of the bigger books. So that's what those are. And then the last thing that I will talk about is this notebook. This is the newest addition to this little lineup of mine, and it's the Leuchtturm, like, you know, this notebook, the A5 dot grid notebook. And I found that I had a little bit of a gap in the things that I was using, and I just needed what I'm calling like my scribble notebook. So this is like where I can write anything and everything down, and it just is very messy, and I just write it down. So far I've only had this about a week, and I've written down a couple dreams that I've had. I've written down notes from YouTube video that I watched, podcast episodes, just like random thoughts and notes. And the idea is that I'm going to go through this about once a week and get anything that is like important or like relevant to a project or whatever and move it somewhere else. So it'll get moved to my planner, it'll get moved to Notion, wherever it needs to go, it'll get moved. And I'm not sure exactly how I will keep track. I might make like a little note at the top or something, like when it's been transferred. But the idea is that I can just get it down and then move it to where it's supposed to go. And that will take away the need for me to overthink, like if I have a thought or an idea or whatever, like where do I put it sort of thing, it can just go in here and then it can always get moved elsewhere. And I think that's it. I do have some other things, obviously, like, but not like this sort of thing. Not like a daily or like a, I don't know, organizational related item, journaling related. So anyways, I hope that this has been at least entertaining and helpful in some way, and I thank you for being here. Check the links below if you want to find me anywhere else. I'm on Patreon and Instagram and all that, and please subscribe if you want to see more videos from me. I appreciate you being here, and thank you again. Bye-bye.